This is part 3 of Basic Learning Theory Concepts, the basis for the process healing treatment method. I assume you have watched parts 1 and 2. These parts mainly taught you the words or constructs used in the learning theory model. Part 3 introduces the mechanics of creating personality parts. Although few professionals accept this view of the personality, people and their parts readily accept the metaphors and constructs used in the model that are useful in composing interventions and treatment. This is where it gets interesting. Recall you learned about dormant memories, active experience, what stimulates memories, that a response is a collage of active memories, and about dissociative and associative processes. This figure shows the most basic parts of the personality model. Active stimuli, responses, and emotions all activate dormant memories into the active experience. Unstimulated active memories return to dormancy. A collage built on the last response, a recurrent process, creates and causes the next response. The associative process screens for fitting responses to activate in the active experience. The dissociative process associates with unuseful active memories in the conscious experience to make them unconscious. At this point, we can assume that a massive basic neural structure is instrumental in creating the responses. Let's start talking about trauma. A simple trauma is a trauma in which you do not lose consciousness. A slip on the ice, a broken arm, a trip to the hospital are traumas you can share with someone when you reach home. Simple traumas involve moderate pain. You know how to deal with a trauma event. Recall the autobiographical memory. This consists of memory structures that amass from a little before birth till now. The main personality is created from memories in the autobiographical memory. With no severe traumas, the main personality is a straight line showing that there are no compartmentalized parts. A person can remember experiences from early in life. You can recall dissociative memories if you present the right stimuli or use simple therapy interventions. Severe trauma occurs when a person experiences an intense emotional or painful trauma. Sometimes when this happens, there is a blank spot in his or her autobiographical memory or main personality. In this blank spot, a person has amnesia for whatever happened. These amnesic memories are difficult to access. Amnesia has been a problem for psychology for over a century. Extreme trauma creates personality parts. For years, psychologists called personality parts dissociative parts. This confused thinking about normal dissociation, which causes amnesia, and personality parts, which also cause amnesia. I believe that parts created in extreme trauma causes amnesia by having an autobiographical memory that is different from the main personality's autobiographical memory. The stimuli in a severe trauma are not familiar to the main personality's memory structure, so it becomes amnesic during the trauma. After the trauma, the main personality cannot access the amnesic part, which is compartmentalized from the main personality. Personality parts are properly called compartmentalized parts. Let's look at the characteristics of personality parts. Personality parts can run the body, therefore have executive function. Executive function is the capacity of using working memory, reasoning, problem solving, as well as planning and carrying out daily tasks. They amass an autobiographical memory of the time that they are running the body. They usually have dissociated memories. They can sometimes be aware of other parts and the main personality. They are normal with learned behaviors to handle the extreme trauma situation. Let's look at severe trauma. A severe trauma occurs when you have 1. No memory in the main personality to handle the situation, and 2. The pain and emotions are high. With extreme pain, the brain mobilizes and activates all related emotions and pain memories. Because this is not included in the structure of the main personality's autobiographical memory, rapid mobilization causes the personality to become dormant. A part is formed as time passes. The part amasses an autobiographical memory of the trauma experience. When the pain is low enough, the main personality becomes active again, and the trauma part becomes dormant. With no memories to handle the trauma and with intense emotions, at 1,
the trauma starts and the brain mobilizes, flooding the active experience with intense emotions and relevant behaviors. The autobiographical memory had no memory record of the situation causing the trauma and becomes dormant.
At 2, the stimulus complexion changes and mobilizing behavior and emotions flood the active experience, forcing the autobiographical memory and main personality to go dormant. A new personality part is formed to run the body, and a new personalized autobiographical memory amasses during the trauma.
At 3, when the situation becomes familiar to the main personality, MP, it rapidly returns to the active experience. With the return of the main personality, the trauma part, TP, with its autobiographical memory, becomes dormant at 4.
Just as dissociation occurs in the main personality, a compartmentalized part can dissociate similar behavior in his or her experience. Although the experience of a part is different than that of the main personality, the same source in the autobiographical memory generates many of his or her behaviors. Examples of this are driving a car, language, keeping appointments, or knowing her child's school schedule. A compartmentalized part can dissociate painful information in his or her experience. This shows that there are 2 processes causing amnesia, one caused by the dissociation process and the other caused by creating compartmentalized parts. The first is a learned and shared process, and the other is an extreme trauma causing a structural creation. Let's look at personality or compartmentalized parts. The main personality works as a compartmentalized part. Some parts can watch other parts without being seen. Sometimes they are unaware of each other. Parts can learn new languages that are unknown by the main personality or other parts. The autobiographical memories of parts can be private or completely or partially shared. Some parts are fragile because they took all the torture and pain of their childhood. Some parts protect the main personality or person in his or her daily activities.
What does therapy with parts look like? While some parts believe they want more pain and less happiness, I have found that all parts want more happiness and less pain. This is my primary leverage for getting parts to cooperate. I view all parts as normal and treat them with respect, even the most dangerous parts. Some parts have considerations about joining what I call the treatment team or getting treatment. These considerations serve as barriers for treatment but can be easily removed by reframing, namely, by explaining away the barrier. Since this model fits all personalities, therapists use problem solving to adjust the model to each unique personality. Experience can stretch the personality in many directions. The use of problem solving adapts the model to each patient. The therapist does this.
This is the end of Part 3, in which we talked about simple and extreme trauma, creating compartmentalized parts, their characteristics, and some problems that may arise when treating them. In Part 4, I will describe how I learned about the subconscious and began to incorporate the capabilities of the subconscious into my treatment activities. You will learn how the subconscious can be an ally in treatment and greatly speed up therapy while giving complete respect to the patient. Thank you for watching this.